listen,
Neither one of us was here. Deal?
Deal. Is he going to be a prop?
No, absolutely not. The last thing he wants is for his parents to know he was at a college party.
Good.
Hey,
Hi.
what were you and Aquaman Classic talking about?
You are not a horrible person.
What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Afternoons to Light. So let's talk about this, man. So one of my favorite things in soap operas, and I know that not everybody's cup of tea, is the teen scenes. Whenever we have teen scenes on the soaps, you know, that's one of the things that I sort of grew up on when I started watching GH. You know, the first teen scene I watched was like the Lucky, Liz, Nicholas, Jason's sister, Emily, you know, all of them when they were teens, man. Because I just missed out on, like, the Robin crew, you know what I mean? When they was coming up in the mid-90s, like, I missed that crew, you know. I caught the late 90s crew and the early 2000s, and so. But the crew that I kind of more aligned myself more with was, like, the Maxie, Georgie. What was dude's name? What was Scott Clifton's name on the show? Damn, I forgot his damn name. But then it was like Brooklyn, Diego, Lulu, you know, all of them. So, and then later on it was Christina, and then like TJ and Molly and all of them. So, I just always loved the teen scenes or young adult scenes. Like I've always loved that on soaps if they were done right. And I always felt like GH did them right, you know. And then I even watched like the older ones of like John Stamos, you know, and he was on there with Demi Moore from the 80s and stuff. So, like, I went back, watched those episodes. So, it's always fun. It's always fun when you see the teens and the young adults. So, this was a fun, like, take me back moment, you know, because we haven't seen much of, like, the teen life for Danny and Rocco, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just a simple go to a party you're not supposed to go to at that age with drinking and stuff and just simple stuff, man. And it was just really fun and simple, man. Like, so one of the things that I noticed in this whole, so basically what happened was that Danny invited Rocco to the bonfire that was set up by the kids at PCU. Remember, Emma invited Joss to go to it or whatever. And then, so Danny found out about it, like I said, and then they were supposed to go to the Woodchucks game. I'm still trying to figure out if that's baseball, if that's the baseball team in Port Charles, like, because it is baseball season in sports, so I said maybe it's baseball. But like Lulu and Dante were supposed to go to the game with them, but they canceled because they needed to talk to each other. And so Yuri was supposed to take them, and that's when Danny knew like we could get away with it. Let's just go to this bonfire because they could probably trick Yuri into saying that they got something else to do. So they go to this bonfire, and the one thing that we find out more about the personality traits of both of them. A little bit more than we knew before. Like, we always kind of knew what type of people Rocco and Danny were, but I found out a little bit more about them in just today's scene alone. Because we found out that Danny is more adventurous, and they even mentioned it, so they ran into two college girls at the bonfire. And he said introvert or extrovert. He didn't know the difference. Danny didn't know the difference between them. But it's obvious that Danny's more the extrovert and Rocco's more the introvert. And introvert means you're a little bit more shy, reserved. Extrovert means you're more social, more out there with people, and stuff like that. So the dynamic between Danny and Rocco is like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, Danny seems like he's more of a troublemaker, more of an adventure seeker. In a way, see, the thing is, when Jason before the coma was a little bit more like what Danny is right now, which is crazy. But now we see that since the coma, like, Jason is way more reserved. Like, way more reserved, more like Rocco, introvert. And I think Rocco might have picked up that trait a little bit from Dante just being stoic. Not the shy part, but more the stoic part, because Dante's more of an extrovert than me. But it just seems like So what I was picking up on, it feels like Danny is more like Drew in a way. Like he might end up becoming like Drew. Like that's the thing that fears me with Danny. It feels like he might end up being like Drew. Rocco ends up being like Jason, even though Rocco's not related to Jason by any blood measure. But it just feels like it feels like he's leaning more on that side. You know what I mean? Because you could tell like Rocco's more the nerd, geeky type. You know, he's out in the parties and stuff like that. It's not really his scene. And in these situations, that's usually what happens. The kid that is usually not into the parties is the one that's probably going to get more drunk at the party because they don't know how to handle themselves. He's just into drinking. You know what I mean? It's probably tasting good to him, or he's just thirsty or whatever. So Rocco just kept on drinking. Danny trying to, have a good time with these girls. And then I noticed throughout the episode, I was like, man, Rocco is like on his second or third drink, or a couple, whatever. He just kept sipping. Like, damn, I was like, oh shit, Rocco gonna get hella drunk. So I knew this was gonna happen. So then they showed later in the episode, that Rocco was passed out, man. And boy, oh boy, they're gonna find out. Lulu and Dante, they're gonna find out that they was at this party, bro. They're gonna find out that they was at this party, and Jason gonna find out too, man. I hope he lays that hammer on Danny. But this is my fear. This is why I said Danny might end up being like Drew in the future, because I think he's gonna pull all the blame on Rocco, because Rocco was drinking too. It's good. He gonna put it on Rocco. He's gonna put it on Rocco, man. It's gonna be messed up, but he gonna put this on Rocco, bro. I know how this is gonna go, man. It's gonna be so messed up, but it looks like it's going in that direction, man. Hey, damn. And then we saw Danny with Joss. He was spotted with Joss. I talked about that in the last video, but yeah, we need to talk about Emma and Joss next. So go on ahead and give me your thoughts on this, man. Give this video a like, share, subscribe. We're gonna see how this is gonna pick up next week on Monday, man. Thank y'all for watching this one. After News Delight.